Hi YouTube artist, I'm Kelly Hernig and welcome to In the Studio. The first thing I want to say is Happy New Year! I hope you had a great holiday with your family and friends, and I don't know about you, but I'm so grateful that 2025 is over and we're heading into 2026. It has been a year of a slow start, a very slow start in fact, but towards the end, it has been unstoppable creativity, and I'm excited to share that with you. I also want us to reflect on 2025, what we've done right, what we're celebrating, what we learned, and how it's pushing us into the new year. And what is your goal for next year? Do you have them? Do you have one? Do you have multiples? And how is that going to help you accomplish where you want to go in the direction of your art? I want to share some of my favorite pieces with you, the most beautiful color palette I painted with last year, but I also want to tell you about what my plans are for 2026. So let me turn this around and we'll get started. Whenever I'm setting goals or intentions, I like to reflect on the past year. It's something that allows me to give thanks for what I've learned, for what I've created, for the inspiration I found. It also gives me momentum to go into the next year with positive energy. I want you to just think about that. When you are reflecting on your own art and giving gratitude and being thankful, it propels you in a different way. So I want you to just look back at your art and find the joy that you created. I mean, experience it. Feel the energy as you turn the pages, because I think that that's a really wonderful feeling when you can bring that into a new year. So my reflections for 2025 was that I created 65 YouTube videos. I know that seems like so many. I did 2 full book studies this year. I worked through Painting Calm, and then I did the Creative Abstracts book by Kate Rebecca Leach. I filled 2 sketchbooks this year. This one was from my weekly stacks project, where I created on both sides of this accordion book, and I absolutely love this little idea of just doing something once a week. It gave me a purpose of looking through things. And then I also finished this book with another 100-day project. So I have the 100-day project from last year, and then I got to finish this one this year and fill the sketchbook. So I'm really excited about that. It was a fulfilling year of creativity that started slow but gained momentum throughout the year. And it really gave me an unstoppable creativity. And for that, I am so grateful, because the year started really just like turtle paced. It was like I was doing things, but it wasn't really active or motivating or anything. It was just the habit of doing, where towards the end of the year, I couldn't paint fast enough or design fast enough. And I really am thankful for that. I wanted to share my favorite pieces with you this year. I have several that I want you to go through. Here's the first of my favorite pieces. It was done inside my 100-day project, and I discovered the softness of stacked layers. It also let me experiment with making them come forward without being too harsh. So you can see this piece of paper, which is scalloped, which was the first time I did scalloped paper. It went to this flash card, and then it went to this deeper flash card. But yet they're all so soft that they kind of blend into one another. And I found that truly like awe-inspiring. I was like, wow, I can't believe that I pulled that off and it looks so nice. But then I went ahead and I added this deep whistle in front, because that was what my focus was on. This was really just supporting this whistle. And I'm going to bring that up so you can see that. Do you see how one layer goes into the other, and they just kind of morph into there? I didn't add sharp shadows or anything. And then there's the bold whistle. This really gave me a jumping off point, because this was done in February and March, so it gave me something to aspire to for the rest of the year. I was always thinking about layers and softness and how I can bring that to the rest of my work throughout the year. The next piece, this is my regular sketchbook. So the next 2 pieces are in this. I found boldness through Painting Calm, the book, where I did a thistle and I added the darkest dark I'd ever added it to a watercolor painting. And when I did that, I was just so proud of myself. And when I got this palette, this is called Berlin from Addison and Sedgwick, I was like, I'm not going to lighten those. I want to use them as bold as they are because I was really enamored with the colors here. I mean, isn't it a beautiful palette? So when I decided to just do grapes, I was like, let me do something fun, abstract. You know, yes, they're grapes, but have you ever seen grapes in these colors, right? I would just love to find that branch. But what I discovered about myself here is I allowed myself to play. I allowed myself to experiment with multiple colors, not making them all look the same. So you can see here I've got blue and green. Here I've got red and yellow. I've got purples on the bottom. So experimenting this way and discovering how the colors moved and went together was really joyous. Here are the colors that I used. And then the splashes carried over from Painting Calm. She splashed a lot of her paintings and I really, really enjoyed that. And I was trying to get better at it instead of, you know, like just painting the splash. I was actually throwing my brush and the paint around. So I enjoyed this one immensely because of its boldness and its colorfulness. That's pretty colorful for me. And then on this page here, it was all about the texture, the fragmented way the shapes were created, and I want to explore more of this for 2026. I really enjoyed this piece because it gave me a way to kind of think about what I was creating. So even though this was a leaf, I put the center vein in there and then I did give it some veins, but I left the veins white. So think about that. I left that sectioning colorless so that it gave more weight and more distinctiveness to the actual leaf shapes. And let me show you what I mean there. So you can see in between there is the white, the thick white, and then the other whites. And then those thin marks I just did with a Unipin. But then I treated the flower the same way, as I left a lot of white paper. I wanted it to feel like it had sunshine on it in some areas, but I wanted the center nice and deep. I really wanted you drawn into the center, where then these two flowers are just complements. So they're just really holding this one up so that you notice it. And you can see I have a lot of darkness here, but not a lot of darkness in these two. My favorite part, however, was this beaded necklace that I had placed in this still life. And the way that I did this with the dark and the light, that's all I did was I took a brush and did gray and then added a little bit of the blue on the bottom here. I love the way that that turned out. It's fun, it's abstracted, it's fragmented, you don't know what it is, and I just really like the way that that turned out. So this probably is my favorite piece of them all because it was so different from my style. It was definitely in my color wheelhouse, but it was definitely out of my comfort zone while I was creating it and thinking about how to abstract it in a interesting but Kelly way, if that makes sense. And this book is my piece here that I was exploring a new palette by Kisho, and I really liked the colors. They are very intense, as you can see, except for probably this color and these three, but the rest are pretty intense. At least for me, they're intense. So when I went to do the picture, I was really thinking I want something really charming, really delicate feeling, and let's see if I can make these a little more muted and a little more pastel, like how I like to paint. And so this picture here and this composition, it's set up on just a paint palette here. It's got, of course, one of my leaves, one of my little trinkets that I love. But what this does to me is it's just such a delightful composition. It just makes me smile when I did it. And let me bring you up so you can discover all the texture there. I mean, look how charming. How can you not smile when you look at him, right? And I just love that I put him on a little paint palette and I just used the colors that I was using to fill that paint palette. For me, creating with these little characters, it is about making me smile, and it's about bringing joy to my life, and I find them enchanting almost, especially when I can put a leaf or something from the garden in his hand. It makes it more personal to me, and I just really love that feeling. Now, my favorite color scheme of the year, it came from the Creative Abstract Workbook where I did this whole binder. But this is the palette that I absolutely love. So these are the colors. These are all by Essie & Company. So this is Flat Peach, Verde Alemana, Olive Green Dark, and Sombra Raw Umber. But what I loved about this was the way they interplayed with each other. And I came back and I added a lot of darks. But I'm going to show you my favorite area, or my favorite actual leaf, is this leaf here. Let me show you why. First of all, you have like this greenish color here that kind of morphs into this like blue, right? And then I came in and I strengthened that like Davy gray kind of color. So it was a color upon a color upon a color, and I really love that. I did the same here where it was a lighter peach, but then I came in and gave it a little more depth. So by adding that dark, the second layer, and that's really what I learned by doing the abstract book this year, was the second layer is the most important. At least for me it was, because it gives it that depth, and I can add now shapes. I understand about that. But it also just gave me a beauty. I mean, look at this leaf and this leaf together. I might pull this way. Is it not gorgeous? I am in the process of creating a palette around this piece, because these are the colors I want to work with in 2026. I really want this warm, muted, yet to me very exciting. It's not really bold. It's not really value controlled. Like there's not extensive whites or deep darks, but it gives me all these middle tones that I just am falling in love with over and over again. And this palette did it for me. This has got me on a whole nother tangent of looking for an incredible palette for 2026 for me to play with and create with. So I cannot wait. Now, what I'm most thankful for in gratitude this year is you, the viewer. Thank you so much for being a subscriber of mine. You helped me build my audience this year to 14,000 people. I can't even imagine that many people tuning in to watch me create or hear my thoughts on art. So I just want to say thank you so much. I am so appreciative of you taking your time out of your day to stop by and visit me. I am just really, really grateful for all of you. And to my art friends who helped me create this sketchbook this year, this study of the Abstract Creative Workbook, I just want to say it was so fun being inspired by you all as we work through this experience, one exercise at a time. Not only did I learn from the book, but I learned from each of you that shared and explored and experimented. We did it together, but I learned the most from watching you guys too experiment in a different way than I did. So thank you for coming along with this journey. I really appreciate it as well. As we head into 2026, I really want you to think of one thing. That's it, one thing. What is your goal this year? What is your intention? What do you want to get out of the year? That is really important to me this year, because I know my time's going to be a little more limited. I'm going to be working on some classes this year, and I've got YouTube that I do. So I need to be a little more intentional. And that is what my goal is this year, to create everything with intention, which means slowing down, enjoying the process, not the outcome. Make sure that I connect with each subject that I bring to life with paint and paper, just like this little guy. When I look at this, the delight, and I remember creating him, and I remember watching him come to life, and I remember adding that little shadow to his belly and just being like, oh my gosh, look how cute he is, right? So that's what I mean by intention. And I wanted to bring delight to my life because I'm creating for a reason. I'm creating because, first of all, I need to. As an artist who has created for the last 30 years almost every single day, it's a habit that I have to do. When I come down the stairs and open my studio French doors, I always say, hello, creativity. That's the way I walk into my studio every single day. And when I do that, it's a welcoming, it's an invitation to come play. And that for me is the intention for 2026. Although I started 2025 slow and steady, the unstoppable creativity at the end of the year has propelled me into so many projects that I want to do in 2026, because that creativity is contagious. You know, the more you do, the more you want to do. So I hope you think about that one thing that will just bring you happiness in your art studio this year, and do that all year long. If you were inspired by today's content, please leave me a like and a comment. If you haven't subscribed, please click the button and the little bell so you're notified whenever a new video is released. And as always, thanks so much for watching.